culprit, meaning it is not the actual work that is the issue, but the culture of the company that is. So understanding the importance of creating a strong leader culture is exactly what we're going to talk to you guys about today.
Yeah, so if you want your team to be excited to show up to all of your team calls and come to all of your events and have a place where people are linking arms and running toward their goals together, and where people feel like they're part of something way bigger than themselves, and for your team to be a place that once people are there, they never want to leave, then you're going to want to lean in today and learn the 3 steps to cultivate that type of culture on your team.
So step number 1, take ownership of your own leadership lid. If you want a team of people like she just described, it starts with you being a leader that people want to follow. So here's how to be a leader that people want to follow. Number 1, leaders have vision. Vision is simply being able to imagine future possibilities. So do you have a strong vision for your future here at Plexus? When you have a strong vision, you're able to give others vision. And if you want a long-term team, you need long-term vision. So here's how to tell if your vision is more short-term or long-term. Do you spend the most amount of time thinking about earning your next prize or trip, or maximizing you and your team's impact?
So true. Another quality of leaders is that they add value. So what does it even mean to add value? Well, this might be best understood by first giving you some examples of what subtracts value. First of all, complaining. Do you like to hear people complain? Because neither does anybody else. Do you know any complainers, Christina?
Sure do.
Are they your favorite people to be around?
Sure ain't. Y'all, I start my day every day with silver linings, and so if I see a text from my friend first thing in the morning, I get really excited because I like hearing from my friends. But then the first minute and a half is a laundry list of complaints about what's happening in their day so far. And that takes my energy from a 10 to a 5. So then naturally, I call my friend Brittany to complain about my complaining friend.
Did you know that it is impossible to smile and complain at the same time? I'm just curious, Christina, would you rather stand in a long convention line with somebody who is smiling or complaining?
I would rather stand in line with somebody who can tell a joke.
I got one.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Complainer.
Girl, bye. Do you know what I like even less than a complainer?
What?
Somebody who is freaking negative. Do you know anybody like that?
I know a few. Negativity definitely subtracts value. And we don't mean somebody who's able to spot problems, because my brain's wired that way too. We mean someone who can only see the problems. For example, we all know that about 1 out of 10 people are going to respond to our messages, right? Well, the negative thinker is just very focused on that 9 who don't respond. Or if they have 3 people who love the products and 1 who doesn't, they're very focused on that 1. Somebody who's negative generally talks more about problems than they do about opportunities. So what does it mean then to add value? It means to make the people around you better. And that could look like a lot of different things. It could look like causing people to be more focused on moving themselves and their businesses forward. It could look like raising someone's belief. Think about the words that you've spoken out loud at this convention. Have those words raise people's ambitions? Have those words raise people's belief? If you want to be a leader that people want to follow, your words need to do those things.
Yeah, so what is your attitude like when a problem arises? Because you have 2 buckets that you can pour on every single problem. Water to ease the situation, or gasoline to fuel it and blow it right up. And the world does not need any more gasoline tossers. The world definitely does need, though, more leaders who can spot the good news in every tough situation. Leaders also add value and build trust with their integrity. People do not want to follow someone that they cannot trust. Credible leaders are the ones who are getting results while also maintaining the highest levels of integrity. You guys, people who add value, they do it on purpose. They are aware that they are doing it. John Maxwell says that if you're not intentionally adding value, then by default you are probably subtracting.
Leaders also have a success mindset. It is a fact that super successful people actually think differently. They literally choose different thoughts than people who are not as successful, and therefore they believe and behave differently too. Leaders believe that everything is figure outable, and they're constantly reminding people around them of that too. And because they believe that there's never a problem that doesn't have a solution, their brains are thinking on a higher, more creative level to find and brainstorm possible solutions when they encounter challenges.
Yeah, leaders are victors, not victims. That means that they don't blame their circumstances or others for their results or lack thereof. Leaders also believe that change is possible and that past results do not automatically dictate future results, as long as there is a willingness to learn and grow and be coachable. Now that we've established how to be a leader, that takes us to step number 2 in developing a leader culture, which is teaching others how to be leaders that people want to follow.
Right, so as a leader, you need to think through everything that you're learning twice. First of all, how does this apply to me? And secondly, how does this apply to my team? So just like we told you that in order for you to become a leader that people want to follow, you need to have vision, add value, and have a success mindset. Now let's think through how to teach your team how to do those things.
Your team needs vision, and not just your vision, but their own. So you have to help them develop a why for becoming a strong leader by casting vision about the benefits to them if they do. The benefits are impact and long-term stability. One benefit is the impact they can make on others. Impact far beyond a commission's check. We're talking about a massive ripple effect. Another benefit of being a leader is stability in results. Nobody wants to build a business that is just going to go away. Here, leaders have the ability to achieve their dreams for their ideal life.
And once they have the vision for why it's worth it to develop themselves as a leader, then you should teach them how to add value. Now, the best way to do this is proactively, not reactively. And one way we've done this is on team trainings and team calls before it's actually needed. Because if you notice somebody subtracting value and then you decide to do a team training on it, then people tend to feel called out. So the more proactive you are about teaching people how to add value, then the less reactive you'll have to be. Raise your hand if you've ever watched one of our Act Right videos before convention. We usually make one of those. This is an example of being proactive before it's needed so that you can be less reactive later.
Next, you need to teach others how to have a success mindset. They will encounter challenges and setbacks in this business. So be prepared to offer perspective on how successful people would think about those challenges. Again, the more proactively you can do this through your team trainings, book studies, or conversations, the less reactively you'll have to do it. So let's bring it all together and talk about how to create a leader culture.
So here's how to do that. Teach people how to see the value in each other. So the top leaders on my team, they're not just leaders for their own downlines. We all collaborate using our unique strengths to add value to each other's teams so that no leader feels like they have to have every single quality. For example, all of my top leaders want their teams to hear from Christina because they know that she's going to get their team fired up, they're gonna leave feeling motivated. But Christina wants her team hearing from my other top leaders like Michelle because she knows her team is going to lead with vision and inspiration. Christina and Michelle both want their teams hearing from Emily because Emily makes people feel like they belong there and that they can do it. The way to cultivate this type of culture is by noticing what people are good at, communicating it to them individually, and communicating it to them in front of others. So people tend to compare themselves to each other. And we all, I think, wish that we had strengths that we see other people having. But if people feel appreciated and valued for what they're good at, then they're gonna be more confident in what they can bring to the table. Only when people feel confident in themselves and what they bring to the table then they're going to be able to collaborate well with others without feeling threatened by somebody else's strengths. So you can help your team members see the value in each other by sharing with every team member what value their team is going to get from collaborating with the other leaders.
When your people see the value that they and their teams get from each other, then you can get people to work together. Opportunities for people to work together include book studies, team trainings, hosting events, etc. When people work together, the leadership load is shared and their lid is raised, which makes the work lighter for each person. The reason the leaders are willing to step up and pitch in is that we're all aware of each other's strengths and the benefits our teams get from being exposed to each other.
Now, usually when you have humans working together, there's bound to be feelings. Y'all probably never had that issue. But sometimes we have accidentally offended each other. But getting our feelings hurt or disagreeing with each other does not mean that we can't work together or that we don't love the other person, right? As leaders, we want to empower people to communicate in love when they feel offended. And as long as everybody understands the proper rules of engagement, then relationships actually grow stronger and respect for each other grows deeper when there's a disagreement that is resolved in a healthy way.
Here are some things we've taught our team about communicating during a disagreement or a conflict. Don't assume the other person's intent. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Go directly to the person who's offended you privately and never publicly and approach with this phrase. Hey, I know your intention was good, but when you said blank, I actually felt blank. Could you help me understand? If people will have the courage to approach someone who has offended them in this way without assuming their intent, often they get a response along the lines of, oh my goodness, I am so sorry, that is not what I meant. And when this happens, true forgiveness can be extended, both parties walk away having learned something and grown, and the relationships get even better.
Yes, so this is how we have developed a strong leader culture within our team. And now you can go and implement these things and develop a strong culture that people love being a part of and don't ever want to leave.